The 2018 South African National Rally Championship got underway in KwaZulu-Natal with the trade brand Tour Natal Rally. Taking place on the 9th and 10th of March, the event had moved up the coast to Ballito.
We really don't know too much what to expect of the Tour Natal Rally because we're in a new area here, North Coast versus South Coast traditionally, which are much slippier roads than up here. On the recce run, which we only had one chance to look at the roads, there's much more grip, but it's a big challenge because there's some very fast sections and then some very tight and tricky technical sections with things that can catch you out. So you've got to keep your eyes open all the time.
The rally started with a 13-kilometre long opening stage. Asia Potgieter had drawn the shortest straw and was sweeping the roads, followed by national rally champion Guy Botterill.
Well, it's a lucky draw and I got second on the road, which is not the best place to be. In Natal, the roads are very slippery first up, so it's a little bit of a disadvantage, but also day one is short, so it's not the end of the world, and we're just going to go out there, get the season underway and be a little bit cautious in the beginning and just let the dust settle and see where we are.
Jono van Wyk was third on the road in a Ford Fiesta, followed by Richard Leek.
So far from the recce today, we have realised the roads are quite quick. The surface changes a lot, so you have to be quite careful, that can catch you out. The first few stages today are quite quick, it's very sweeping roads, so luckily we drew number 4 on the road. We're happy with that. I think the first few cars are going to struggle a bit with the grip, but I think from tomorrow it's nice and tight and it'll be good.
We've done a few changes. We've been down here testing a few weeks ago, but into the South Coast area. Look for something similar that we can get in the area. Done a few suspension setups, see what we can do just to get a bit of extra speed to keep up with Guy Botterill.
Leek exceeded that, setting the fastest time on the stage. Chart Conradi was 5th on the road on the opening day. Chris Kurtzer, running 6th, had used the off-season productively.
In the off-season, which was 4 months long, we did a little bit of work on the car. We had last year some problems with the handling of the car, a lot of understeer turning into corners. We've made a slight adjustment to the suspension geometry on the front suspension by modifying the lower control arms on the car, which gives us more caster that helps the car to turn in better, so that should make a difference. We've also done some work on the engine mapping. We don't have more power, but we've got a little bit better response also when we push the accelerator coming out of corners. So we think that we're positive for the start of the year because the car is better into and out of corners, so that should be a good advance.
JJ Potgieter was running ahead of George Smalberger and Chris Brand.
So Chris and I, we're actually mates as well. We're friends, and we give you an example, we spent December together over the Christmas period. At the kind of speeds and stuff that we do, you got to trust a guy next to you. It's not the easiest relationship, but as long as at the end of the rally we can sit here and have a cold one, that's what it's all about, and do fairly well.
The final R2 car was that of Matthew Vasey-Lyle. The open class cars followed the R2 cars onto the roads of the trade brand's Tour Natal Rally. The class features an eclectic mix of vehicles, though Rory Eland's canary yellow Subaru Impreza remains a fan favourite. Making up the 13-car strong field were Brian Scott in a Volkswagen Polo, Bertus Labuskaghni in a VW Polo Saloon, Clyde Challenor in another of the ever-popular VW Polos, Clyde Victor rallying with his wife Des Marie as co-driver, Zane Renken in a lone Ford Fiesta, Hubi von Moltke in a classic Golf 2, Lune Sneeman in a Toyota Tazz. The all-women's team of Madeleine Brits and Wendy Mitchell were in the City Golf. And the final car on the road was the rally debutant Ian Rademeyer in another VW Polo.
The route is very difficult because there's tight sections, open sections, wet sections, so it's very technical and difficult. So when we're there, we will do our best as possible.
It's not too much of a change for me. I mean, a car's a car, hey, when I'm navigating in either one of them. We've done quite a bit of testing now in the off-season. I've been in both cars to see how the different handling characteristics are. And I'm happy to report that our new car has got better grip, so we're looking forward to a good season.
Jono van Wyk in his 2017 car, which was experiencing a few mechanical gremlins. Richard Leek's Ford was running perfectly, however. Chart Conradi was also running smoothly. Chris Kurte was easing his Mazda 2 through the opening stages, cognizant of the treacherous roads. JJ Potgieter was flying though, posting fast times on the opening 2 stages.
So as you know, we had a bit of a big crash last year, end of last year, so the car was rebuilt. So we started quite early with a fresh car, and we're ready. This year we had some time to test, so it's good. The car's good. We've changed and improved some items. Can't divulge too much, but we're ready.
Matthew Vacy-Lyle ensured his competitiveness by rallying Guy Botterill's championship-winning Toyota Etios. The open class cars rally with varying degrees of competitiveness. Most lack the power to compete outright with the 1600 R2 vehicles. That is, except for Rory Eland in the Subaru. But even the powerful Subaru had to be nursed slightly to avoid mechanical issues. Without the support of significant sponsors, the open class drivers have to drive within the limits, protecting engines, gearboxes and suspensions. After 2 stages of the Trade Brands Tour Natal Rally, Richard Leek led JJ Potgieter by 15 seconds, with Guy Botterill a further 1 second back. The rally's first service park provided an opportunity to assess the opening stages.
They went quite well for us. We had a few close moments there with some jumps, unexpected jumps throwing us into the sugarcane. But other than that, it was quite a clean run for us. We didn't push too hard. I think now the next 2 stages we're going to push a bit harder.
It's awesome. We were playing between 3rd, 4th and 5th gear, so it's really, really fast. I think Chris and I was a bit rusty, but listen, the older guys, it takes a bit longer, but we're now loose and we're awake. So it was really good and very fast. Also, still some sections quite slippery, but so we had an absolute joy.
Though the roads were now swept clear, on the first run through each route the conditions were still clearly slippery on stage 3. Richard Leek, running 4th, was benefiting from the additional clearing of the racing line by the cars ahead. Chart Conradi and Chris Kurte were not pushing their cars anywhere near their maximum yet, choosing safety over valour. JJ Potgieter and co-driver Tommy du Toit were perhaps overreaching in their search for pace. George Smalberger and Matthew Vacy-Lyle were quietly establishing a rhythm, benefiting from running in the final 2 R2 positions. But around them there was action aplenty in the opening 4 stages.
It's quite cool to drive, lots of blind risers, lots of crests, and it's really quick. There's quite a high grip level, so you can really commit to the corners. I think it's fantastic. There are a lot of spectators out there, so I'm really happy. It's been a good day 1 for us.
In stage 3 we had one off where we ran just a bit wide into the sugarcane. Let's try to find our way back to the road. It's quite scary. Stage 4 we had another 2 offs, quite scary ones, almost flipping the car. I think I'm just over driving a little bit, so I just need to calm down a little bit behind the wheel.
Well, the stage went well, extremely well. The stage before this one, came out of the stage to time control and stopped, put the car in first gear, and it's as if I just dropped the clutch. All of a sudden there was no clutch. Limped here, and then at the start managed to get away, and I was just nursing it, and then all of a sudden there was no drive. So yeah, I think that's the end of our rally.
Yes, it's got a lot of oil, so we finished all 4 the stages today, and we saw a little bit of smoke coming out of it. Obviously they just need to try and clean it up and try and figure it out, but you can't see where the oil's coming from.
I'm not sure exactly what to expect yet. We'll go walk at Natal when we have a gap. As they say, those short stages, there's nothing to gain but everything to lose, so just get through it.
The 5th stage of the Trade Brands Tour Natal Rally was a spectator-friendly dash through the streets of downtown Ballito. With the restaurants and bars of the CBD filled to capacity, there was an estimated 2,500 people on hand to revel in the action. Though Richard Leek was able to win the stage by a slender single second over Guy Botterill, the real winner was the sport of rallying. It is innovative stages such as this which, as Richard Leek Sr. explains, will grow the fan base.
Well, it isn't really. That's why we do these night stages and shopping centre type stages. And it's done for exactly that reason, to try and show to the public and not just to the rallyists and their followers. The crowd was good. You don't win a rally on a town stage like that. So you just play it easy and look what happens tomorrow.
After 5 stages, Richard Leek led Guy Botterill by 15.9 seconds. Chart Conradi was third, 49 seconds back. The 2018 South African National Rally Championships take place over 7 legs in 5 provinces. After the Tour Natal Rally, the series moves to Sabi in Mpumalanga in April for the York Rally. Then it's the Carnival City Rally on the 25th and 26th of May in Gauteng, followed by the Midwinter Algoa Rally in the pine plantations around Port Elizabeth. The series then moves north again for the Electro Thread Rally in Bronkhorstspruit. The Lake Umuzi Rally on the 28th and 29th of September kicks off the Umuzi Week of Festivals. The season then wraps up in Limpopo with the Zanin Rally on the Back at the Tour Natal Rally, the second day's action promised to be even more scintillating than the opening days. Father of the overnight leader, Richard Leek Sr. spoke of the challenges facing the drivers.
You know, it's the first event of the year, and we're probably in one of the most difficult rally areas in the country, because if you don't understand sugarcane, you can come off very easily, and you've already seen it on this event where people have gone off the road. Fortunately, not too much damage. A couple of people have rolled, a couple of people gone off, but the sugar cane is sort of forgiving once you're in there, but you can very easily fall off these roads. Initially, the first time through, they're very shaly. They're not as curved as the roads further south, so it means the first car on the road cleans the road, and you'll see that from Richard Jr.'s times this morning, where he was having to be hesitant because of the shale. So that causes a problem. Generally, I think the event has gone very well. I think it was an interesting concept to bring it back to the north coast.
With Richard Leek sweeping the roads, it was theoretically easier for the drivers behind him. But theory and practice do not always add up in rallying. The treacherously loose roads did not become significantly easier to drive for each of the following cars. This point was proven by Chris Kurtzer and Greg Godrich in the Mazda 2. The pair were pushing hard, attempting to make up some of the time they lost easing into the rally on day 1, but had a number of minor incidents which forced them to back off to a safer pace. The cane roads were certainly proving to have teeth. George Smallberger too was choosing to temper valour with caution. In the open class, Bertus Labuskaghni was moving up the standings and into second position, while Hubi van Moltke and Dean Redlinghuis were back in the rally under Super Rally rules. The drama on stage 6 was provided by Richard Vaughan and Jari Brunings in the Toyota Conquest. Fortunately, Vaughan, Brunings and all the spectators emerged unharmed.
It wasn't really a crash, it was more of a controlled spectator entertainment option. There was a note at the bottom of the page, and my hand is covering it. I'm a rookie at this. Instead of writing that turn left 9 onto the previous page, it's at the bottom. And I called the right one crest, and as I'm looking I could see the green marker coming up, and I called turn left 9, but we were already... But yeah, credit to the driver. I mean, we were on the side like that from what I remember, and a bit of steering and what have you, flipped back over and carried on.
For the rest of the open class field, the first stage of the morning passed mercifully without major incident. Bertus Labuskaghni, who had been second overnight, moved up to first following Richard Vaughan's moment. René Snyman was running in fourth in the class. While the debutant Ian Rademacher in his first ever rally, let alone National Rally Championship event, was up to third and thrilling his fans.
Yeah, the first stage this morning, halfway through the stage we realised we're not going quick enough, so we picked up the pace. Unfortunately, we discovered in service that our one front tyre was the wrong direction. So been losing some grip on the inside every time on left-hand corners.
With Richard Leek and Henry Kona struggling for pace, Guy Botterill devoured their lead, overturning it on the first 2 stages of the day. Chart Conradi was keeping his nose clean, avoiding the sugarcane while running 3rd on the road, but dropping to 4th overall after stage 7.
Yeah, definitely we will try to make up time, but this isn't the rally that you go stick out your head. You must just keep on the road and see how much points you can score in the rally.
Despite exercising caution, Asia Potgieter and co-driver Nico Schwartz moved up to 3rd following stage 7.
Left 2 tightens to a very long left 5 opens into caution right 8 no cuts, caution right 8 no cuts 100 left 5 in tightens to a left 7 late, left 5 tightens to a 7 late, fast.
Further down the running order, Matthew Vacy-Lyle and Skalk van Heerden were making inroads into the group of experienced drivers ahead of them. The Toyota driver had Chart Conradi in particular in his sights. Chris Kurzer and Greg Godrich were making steady progress, but the minute they had lost on stage 2 on Friday left them with a great deal to do on Saturday. And with the road conditions, pushing to make up significant time was a dangerous ploy. George Smallberger was further down on the timesheets, but with many kilometres left, staying in the rally could be all that was needed to score good championship points. After 7 stages, Guy Botterill led the Tour Natal rally by 6 seconds from Richard Leek. Asia Potgieter was 3rd, 1 minute off the pace.
Yeah, long and fast, a lot of net 3s, right 3s, fun, very fast, sideways all the time. But yeah, we are just being extra careful.
Stage 1, I think we took about 11 off Richard, which was quite good. And then stage 2, we broke our exhaust off around about, I think about 5-6 k's towards the end, which killed our power, but we also managed to take another 10 off Richard. So I think we around about 6 seconds in the lead. Yeah, the car's okay. We just got to get out there and make sure we get back to the service without any more damage and fix the car for the next run.
Gary, wheels are loose. And then get ready to take the back wheel to the front. Did we get a hammer? Yeah, behind you. Show me there. Okay, wheel alignment done.
Yeah, it's not a quick fix, a side shaft, so we are quickly going to check. Maybe we can do one more stage with the side shaft and maybe check with the service B if we can quickly change it. But I think hopefully it will manage to survive in the first stage.
It was not just Guy Botterill's crew who were hard at work. Stage 8 was a repeat of the 10-kilometre long Doornkop route used for the day's opening stage. On the second pass, the times dropped as the racing lines were swept cleaner. This allowed Richard Leek to push harder in an attempt to stem the hemorrhaging of time to Guy Botterill. Botterill, running without an exhaust manifold, was still blisteringly fast, clocking the quickest time of the stage. Chart Conradi continued to drive cautiously, but in so doing lost nearly 5 seconds to Matthew Vacy-Lyle, who was chasing his 4th place. Asia Potgieter in the VW Polo was looking ahead though, following Botterill's lead and taking time off Richard Leek. In his first rally for 2 years, Matthew Vacy-Lyle was showing no signs of ring rust. The roads, which were alternating between narrow and wide, kept everyone, including Chris Kurzer, on their toes. George Smallberger was equally alert to the dangers of the North Coast roads. On their second pass, Richard Vaughan and Jari Brunings navigated that left 9 without incident. Bertus Labuskaghni's VW Polo now led the Volkswagen-dominated class. Only Lune Sneemann's Toyota Taz aided Vaughan's conquest in breaking the German manufacturer's hegemony.
It's been good to us, it's been good to our car. It's rough out there and it's extremely hot. It's my first time, but yeah, all over, very well organised rally. I think the sponsors did absolutely well to put this together, and we'll definitely be back next year for the same rally.
While Ian Rademacher and his fellow Volkswagen drivers sought to put pressure on the remaining Toyotas, in the open class, the R2 battle reached a decisive conclusion during stage 9. The seesaw battle between Richard Leek and Guy Botterill was unfortunately not settled by outright speed.
In stage 9, unfortunately, we broke a clutch or a diff. We're not 100% sure, but there was no drive at all going to the wheels. So, not the great way to start the event, but we seem to be quite chuffed with the pace that we had. We just got to iron out a few small issues, and hopefully for the York Rally in a few weeks' time, we'll be good to go again.
Botterill's forced withdrawal from the Tour Natal Rally bumped all the R2 cars up a notch on the overall standings. The major beneficiaries were Leek, Assia Potgieter, and the now third-placed Matthew Vacy-Lyle. Chris Kurze also benefited from Botterill's retirement, but George Smallberger nearly did not, after a series of events which verged on the comic.
In the second last stage, we started getting fuel pressure problems, so we stopped next to the side. I checked, it was on the actual pump, and one little plug just came loose, and I clicked it in and it was fine. But then we ran out of fuel, it was empty. Then we had to race to the garage, and as I raced, we forgot to put the clips on, so the bonnet popped the windscreen. But we did that, and then we got back and we did the stage. But a bit of a messy one, yeah.
Yeah, we've managed to catch up to Chart. I think we've got about a second lead on him now, so we're quite happy with that. We've had a bit of problems with the car. We've got a fuel in the tank in the last stage, so we only just made it back to service. Other than that, it's been alright.
Unfortunately, guys fallen out, so well, fortunately for us, unfortunately for him. So we're going to take it easy now for the next two.
The penultimate stage of the Trade Brands Tour Natal Rally passed largely without incident. Richard Leek lost significant time to Matthew Vacy-Lyle though. Vacy-Lyle became the first driver other than Leek and Guy Botterill to win a stage of the rally on the 10th stage. Assia Potgieter and Chart Conradi were unable to capitalise on Leek's struggles, but Chris Kurze had a clean run and posted the second fastest time on the stage in his Mazda 2. George Smallberger and Chris Brand, without a windscreen, were forced to complete the final stage 2 with safety goggles to keep the dust from their eyes. The only issue in the open class was a stall by Lunay Snyman, but with her podium rivals well behind, the error did not cost her too dearly.
Yeah, it's good. After 2 years back, it's good to know we can still be up there with the guys. But it was a tricky stage, very, very difficult, and yeah, quite a rough one.
Yeah, no, that last stage was quite tough. Very slippery in the beginning. Obviously, sweeping the road had a disadvantage there, quite a big time.
On the final stage of the Tour Natal Rally, Richard Leek and Henry Kona, with a 1 minute and 1 second advantage over Assia Potgieter and Nico Schwartz, had to focus on completing the stage without error. In managing to do so, the pair claimed victory in the opening round of the South African National Rally Championships. Chart Conradi's caution saw him lose out on a potential podium position. Assia Potgieter's slow start to the rally meant second was the most he could aim for. Unencumbered by championship pressures, Matthew Vacy-Lyle could afford to push hard, while Chris Kurze also had to balance pace with caution. Bertus Labuschagne made a strong finish to the rally, as did Lunay Snyman in the Toyota Taz. Ruby van Molke and Dean Redlinghuis claimed half points under the Super Rally rules, and George Smallberger was the final R2 finisher.
It was a very difficult rally from navigating side. A lot of calls, a lot of rhythm needed, a lot of crests. As you can hear, my voice is stuffed from the event.
No, definitely, it's a perfect start to the 2018 season for us. The car was faultless, worked faultlessly this weekend. Great work from the team. Yeah, puts us in a good step forward for the year.
Richard Leek and Henry Kona ended up securing a comfortable rally victory by 42 seconds over Assia Potgieter and Nico Schwartz. The experienced combination of Bertus Labuschagne and Peter Chadwick wrapped up the open class title by 8 minutes and 25 seconds. The pair were joined on the podium by Ian Rademacher and Matt Kohler in second, and Lunay Snyman and her father Edward Strydom in third. That brings to a conclusion a dramatic Trade Brands Tour Natal rally, which has set the scene for another fierce season of rally action. The signs are good for another humdinger of a year. Guy Botterill has ground to make up on Richard Leek, and Asia Potgieter is right in the mix too. The next stop on the calendar is the York Rally in Sabi this April. But already the rally fraternity is looking forward to the rescheduled Lake Umuzi rally in Secunda. Forming part of the Umuzi Week of Festivals over the 28th and 29th of September, it promises to be the event of the season. With ample alternative entertainment opportunities in the resort, it is the family rally of the year.